Kevin McAllister. Innocent child left behind, or incarnation of chaos and despair for the working class? This infamous little house sitter's crimes have been left unbilled for too long. Imagine a world, if you will, with consequences. A world where Kevin's dad comes home and says, "Son, I'm going to disregard the fact that you single-handedly fought off burglars and survived for days alone by yourself. Instead, son of mine, I am going to ground you, and I'm going to bill you for all the things you used and spent while we were gone."
What?
So, here's what's gonna happen, Kevin, son of mine. I'm going to count up everything you bought, used, and destroyed in your quest to torture these desperate, charming, handsome American citizens. And I'm going to tally that up in the prices these things would have been in 1990, the year that I, your father, am punishing you, Kevin, in. Now, before we get started, if you like these kinds of videos and you want to see more, consider subscribing. It helps us out a lot and lets us know that you want to stick around. So, how much did Kevin spend turning his home into a proto-saw trap? Hell, how much did he spend on groceries? What's the value of a VHS tape used to intimidate people coming to the door? Let's establish some rules. I'll note things that appear on screen, but I'll only charge for things that get used for traps when they're used for traps. Anything that's used more than once only gets charged once. So, how much money did Kevin spend to build a Christmas carnival of pain? Let's find out.
Hello.
The movie begins with chaos. It's days before Christmas, and the McAllisters are getting ready for a trip to Paris. To celebrate packing night, they've even ordered pizza. For context, I punched in an order of 10 pizzas from Domino's. Assuming it's 1 plain cheese and 9 Supremes, which is what it looks like it is in the movie, we get a grand total of $269.16 for larges, $227.07 for mediums. If we were to run that original order through an inflation calculator, $122.50, would come out to $288.37 at the time of recording. Important to know that not all things inflate at the same rate. Food for thought. Kevin is an agent of chaos, an avatar of the trickster god Loki. He is a humanoid typhoon. Scorned to cheese pizza, Kevin curses his family in the night.
I hope I never see any jerks again.
He uses his trickster powers to blow a transformer, causing the McAllisters to sleep in.
We slept in!
In the rush to get to the airport, they leave their scion of destruction at home. Home alone. Free from the shackles of law and order, the demon begins to awaken. He surveys his new kingdom and concludes his dark magic is blossoming.
I made my family disappear.
He made his family disappear. Joyous, he celebrates and begins collecting the tools of anarchy. Now, one could argue I should charge for items on site, but I will only charge Kevin for the things he uses in the moment he's using them. So while we see Kevin grabbing his brother's firecrackers here, and the BB gun here, I won't be charging for these, not until the fun begins. We do get a good look at Kevin's big first feast. A torn open bag of marshmallows, a ripped apart box of ice cream, a very glazed bottle of Hershey's chocolate syrup, a can of Reddi-wip, and a thoroughly pillaged jar of what once contained maraschino cherries. God, I hope I said that right. This mess of a feast will cost Kevin. Gorging himself, Kevin dives headfirst into what can only be described as the kind of movie my grandpa would put on when my grandma wasn't looking. Or as Kevin describes it,
What do you mean?
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
Angels with Filthy Souls comes up a lot in Home Alone. It always struck me as the kind of movie Uncle Frank would be watching when the kids go to sleep. Kevin is certainly struck by its glamour and violence. Kevin settles into his feast, paired nicely with a Pepsi and a bag of Crunch Gators. I've been told those are kind of like bugles. Meanwhile, Harry and Marv are busy scoping out the joint. They've spent their 12 days of Heistmas taking note of every house that will be empty for the holiday season, and plan to rob every single one, peeking with the choicest picking, the McAllister house. Kevin sleeps off his feast, consisting of Twinkies, Skittles, what might be a box of Hostess muffins, and some popcorn. Harry and Marv are scared off by lights, and Kevin is scared straight under the bed. Stealing his nerves, Kevin resolves to live his best independent life. It doesn't go well. Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas summons a cop to Kevin's house, but Kevin doesn't have the best relationship with police, as we've seen before and will see again. Instead, Kevin asserts his American psychopath moment in the mirror, narrating his day and once again finding reason to scream bloody murder. Hang on, Kevin is totally doing an American Psycho bit here, but by my math, American Psycho doesn't come out until 10 years later? So what's going on there? Is this a reference to a commercial that came out? Some other movie? I can't find anything about this, but it does offer up a different timeline. Kevin grew up to be Patrick Bateman, who then grew up to be Jigsaw. I'd buy that shirt. Kevin, inspired by Harry and Marv's attempted entry last night, decides to become a patron of the Grand Larceny Arts himself. He raids Buzz's shelves for his life savings, destroying most of his room in the process. Best bet here is a new set of shelves that need to be bought. The tarantula cage is actually still intact, so no charge for that. Things just used to be built differently. Harry and Marv are busy robbing the Murphys when they find out that the McAllister house is supposedly empty. The game is on once again. Meanwhile, Kevin goes shopping for an ADA-approved toothbrush. Wrapped up in his love of theft and fear of the elderly, Kevin steals the toothbrush and leads a police officer on a high-speed chase through the most packed frozen pond I have ever seen. There's like 3 hockey games, 6 ice skating practices, and 30 people just skating in tandem, all in the size of a residential pool. Is this the only place to skate?
I'm a criminal.
Kevin arrives home to be threatened by Harry and Marv. A thief smells a thief,
I don't like the way that kid looked at me. Did you see that?
and the two stalk him into the evening. That night, the McAllister house is in the midst of a banger of a party. We've got mannequins, we've got Michael Jordan, we've got a train set, and we've got an old record player, as well as a healthy amount of string to pull it all together. The ruse works and scares off Harry and Marv for one more night. Kevin celebrates with a pizza and develops the next level of his trickery: Angels with Filthy Souls. The pizza costs Kevin a cool $11.80. He pays up $12 because tipping is for scrubs, apparently. Should I charge Kevin for his Filthy Souls setup? Does pranking the pizza boy count as a proto-saw trap? While we debate this, Suburban Delia Dietz has been trying to sell her watch, earrings, patience, and soul to get onto a plane back to Chicago. It's super sweet, actually. The next morning, Kevin is once again practicing his best Edward Munch before heading out to do a little pre-Christmas grocery shopping. Man, oh man, anyone who has to buy groceries today is about to get real upset. It looks like Kevin buys a half gallon of milk, a carton of orange juice, a microwavable Kraft mac and cheese meal, a Stouffer's Dinner Supreme roast turkey breast, possibly with peas and carrots, some Snuggle fabric softener, quilted northern toilet paper, saran wrap, Tide detergent, big Wonder Bread, and a bag of Army Men. With a cart and a coupon, Kevin spends $19.83 on all of this. That's $46.68 after inflation as of recording. However, I went through and calculated this equivalent little trip to the grocery store for myself and came up with $61.87. If you're watching this in the future, yes, groceries were once this cheap. Back home, Harry and Marv are plotting their assault on McCastle McAllister. Marv approaches the back door, but Kevin gets wise. He sets up the same ruse he used on the pizza guy, but this time with the added bonus of what my mom would call ruining her favorite pot. Kevin runs the tape and lights a thick bundle of firecrackers, scaring the shoes off Marv and sending him running back to the van. Now we can definitely charge for the Filthy Souls trap. So, let's break it down. We've got an Emerson TV VCR combo, 2 big old speakers, the pot itself, the firecrackers, the lighter, and the VHS tape Angels with Filthy Souls. The TV VCR combo is most likely an Emerson VCT 120. Now, that's about $299.95 for a TV of that size at the time, and $219.95 for a portable VHS player at the time. Does this make a combo unit around $520? Well, yeah, Kind of. Here's a combo unit from Christmas 1990 on sale for $499.99. $649.99 without the seasonal savings. We'll go with the $520 mark because the TV we see is a little bit smaller than 19 inches. The speakers look like they might be 15-inch woofers at least. $199.95 each is not unreasonable. Fight me. Most sets of pots and pans like this ran from $30 all the way up to $150. Replacing a single pot of this quality would cost around $15. Firecrackers are tough. You can pick some up today for $3.49. But how much did this cost in 1990? Reverse inflation tells us it might have cost $1.48 for 300 firecrackers. Is that accurate? Is that fair? Is that believable? Sure. We'll charge around the same amount for the lighter, $1.50. Finally, the film itself, Angels with Filthy Souls. VHS prices ranged between $10 and $30 in the 90s, especially in the early 1990s, especially in 1990. Given that this is a classic film, an action film, definitely an adult film, it's not unreasonable to say it would be about $20. Also, I just want to say, we have the exact same kitchen tile in my house right now, and we're in the midst of finding a contractor to tear it up because it turns out that tile is god-awful and just super gross no matter how hard you clean it in. Anyway, Harry doesn't know what snakes are.
Snakes? Snakes. I don't know no snakes.
But the two decide to stick around and find out what's going on. They spot Kevin and deduce that he's Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
He's home alone.
Right, sorry, my bad. Now might be a good time to ask, where's Kevin's mom been? Well, let's recap real quick. She stayed behind at the airport in Paris to grab a flight to Dallas to buy her way onto a flight to Cincinnati? Scranton? I don't know.
Scranton.
Finally finding her way onto Uncle Buck's polka bus. They commiserate over a desire to be better parents while maintaining their identity as adults. Kevin finds his way into a church where he guides a millennial into getting over his fear of phone calls. Now he can call Arnie about finally selling him Christine. The chaos demon that is Kevin is once again awake, and it seeks to defend his abode. We get a lot of quick cuts to different traps being laid and prepared, as well as some adorable crayon houseplans. Harry and Marv pull up, and the fun officially begins.
This is where the fun begins.
They swing around to their previous point of entry, the kitchen door. Kevin responds by capping Harry in the gonads, and Marv between the eyes with that BB gun. Amazingly, I was able to find an ad for what I think is the same gun, but if not, it's close enough. Harry and Marv split up. Harry takes the front door, and Marv takes the basement. Both discover that water freezes in the winter. Water is free in my socialist apocalypse.
Ow!
The two get their Arctic sea legs and make their way to their respective doors. Marv is the first to aggressively open his door. Basements are scary, and Marv is afraid of the dark.
No, I'm not.
So he reaches to turn on a light. Instead of neon, he gets iron. I'll charge $40 for that iron. That's fair. Marv, you good? He's good. Also, there's a fair amount of rope being tossed around amongst these traps. Let's say Kevin used a 200-foot spool, around $31 today, so $13.17 in 1990. Harry arrives at the front door to be greeted by an exceedingly hot front doorknob being heated by a red, hot thing. Oh. My research tells me it's possibly an immersion water heater. I'm gonna say in 1990 this cost $10. I couldn't find any for sale in 1990. Back in the basement, Marv has been making his way up the steps. Slowly. See, there's tar on them steps, Texas chewing gum, and it has taken Marv's shoes, socks, and coordination. He steps on a single nail popped through a roof shingle laid flat and bare. The universe really aligned to give him the worst acupuncture experience for Christmas. It's 2 steps forward, 1 staircase back for Marv. Budgeting a single nail, a single shingle, and an amount of tar is tricky. On the one hand, I could pull up the price of a box of nails or a box of shingles, work inflation levels backwards to 1990 with a rough approximation, then divide by the number of nails or shingles in a box, resulting in the value of the individual items. If I did this, and that's a big if, it would be 2 cents for a nail, $3 for a shingle, $6 for tar, and $3 for a brush. Lucky for all of us, I didn't do that, but instead I calculated how much it would cost to clean that mess up. RoofingFanatic.com gives us a few options. My favorite is Blackjack Asphalt and Tar Remover. These days, it costs around $22 for a bottle, so around $9.35 in 1990. Harry relocates his attempts at entry back to the kitchen. He's smart to check the doorknob for heat, as that's a good indication that there's fire on the other side of the door. Fortunately, the doorknob is cool. Unfortunately, there's fire on the other side of the door. That's an old-looking blowtorch, man. Or maybe it isn't, that's just how things looked in the 1980s. Let's see. I think it might be a 1921 Clayton Lambert blowtorch based on this blog post. Kevin's blowtorch sells on eBay for around $20 to $40. Adjusting for inflation, that's about $12.74 used. There's also 2 C-clamps holding it to the cabinet door. Let's say $20. $10 each. Harry cools off his hot head while Marv saunters back up the icy steps from the basement. Or tries to. Harry, hot-headed, storms into the kitchen while Marv, sure-footed, enters through an open window. Harry is greeted with the tar and feathers trap, in which Saran wrap smothered in glue stickies up his face while a pencil is pulled from the fan across the room, blowing what can only be described as a migration of down feathers onto his person. Marv, meanwhile, experiences what can only be called a level above Legos in the dark, with a surprise minefield of Christmas decorations. Now, we don't need to charge twice for the plastic wrap, but that glue is new. The fan is metal-bladed, possibly a desk fan, held steady by a pencil. And finally, the feathers. Where did they come from? Did they come from the sequel? Are they time feathers? Are they part of Kevin's mom's fashion job? Did Kevin destroy a pillow? I think Kevin destroyed a pillow. As for Marv, those Christmas ornaments and lights are nightmarish to endure. I'd almost prefer the nail.
I'm gonna kill that kid!
The two finally meet back up, reunited, falling over each other through a sea of micro machines. 2 large cans of paint send them both back down the stairs, as well as relieving Harry of his gold tooth.
You're missing some teeth.
Where? That's my gold tooth. My gold tooth. I'll kill him.
Kevin's tripwire takes down Harry, but Marv gets a grip. Kevin uses biological warfare in return. You go, stunt spider. Marv teaches Harry the meaning of pain and friendship, while Kevin ziplines out the window from his attic using some bicycle handlebars. There might be other hardware at work here as well. I can't quite be sure. We don't see Kevin disassembling a bicycle, so there's a chance this is attic or garage viscera. That rope is extensive, and we're billing him for that. And fuck it, $20 for ziplining it all. You'll break your neck, Kevin. What were you thinking? And then you break the wood in your treehouse, Kevin! 2 new planks of wood, or 1 very long plank of wood sawed in half. They don't make new old growth wood. It's all new growth now, Kevin! Harry and Marv are not good at ziplining, but they are good at rope swinging, as Kevin is so kind to remind them. Kevin, bereft of traps, leads Harry and Marv back to one of the scenes of their crimes, the Murphy house. God, I wish I could charge Kevin for a flooded basement. I seriously wish I could calculate all the damage that would cause. The floor would have to be ripped up, all that 1990s money. But alas, Kevin is saved by our elder millennial. Harry and Marv are arrested, and Kevin's mom comes home just in time to see her son, who is decorated for Christmas, and also cleaned everything perfectly. Because Kevin is secretly a scion of chaos, the reborn son of Loki, trickster god of winter.
Kevin! What did you do to my room?
Or maybe not. So, Kevin, how much did you rack up in all your senseless violence and strange Rube Goldberg trap design? You stole, swindled, and saccharined your way into our holiday hearts. But at what cost? In total, Kevin spent approximately $1,513.56 on his traps, and spent a total of $65.53 on consuming junk food, buying groceries, and the petty theft of a toothbrush, as well as his big brother's life savings. This gives us a grand total of $1,630.01, or $3,837.08 after inflation. His cheapest traps were the doorknob at $10, the Christmas ornaments at $11.90, and the tarred-up steps at $12.02. His most expensive trap was the kitchen sequence at $958, followed by the dinner party ruse at $287.05, and finally dressing up Harry as a chicken for $49.35. Given that there were approximately 11 traps altogether, that makes this film an average of $137.60 per trap. Well, gang, happy holidays. I really hope you enjoyed that. I know I had a lot of fun rewatching this movie and then chopping it up into little pieces and dissecting those little pieces into oblivion. Lots of Sears catalogs for this one. Next up is Saw 3, maybe even Saw 4, before taking a little break to do Now You See Me. I've never seen Now You See Me, so that'll be a fun way to say, now I've seen Now You See Me. As always, please watch the movies beforehand and then come back here to enjoy them with all of us. Also, you might be able to start checking out extended or uncensored cuts of Foot the Bill and other videos over at patreon.com. I'll put a link in the description. There's something for everyone there, and I really hope you enjoy it. I'm here to make stuff, if you're here to watch.